The following is a live presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and or future. Good evening, my name is Ron Juckett. Welcome to the program for this Veterans Day 2024. We go back tonight to play Game 4 of the 1988 National League Championship Series. And how you doing, Ben? The New York Mets are in a world of trouble, and it will be up to Ron Darling to save their season, which no one wants to hear in Game 4 of a best-of-7. But Greg Jeffries, back-page hero in Game 1, back-page GOAT after Game 3, and his error in the 8th inning allowed pretty much the entire Ohio River Basin to score in that 8th inning. The Reds 8-4 winners, and now are just one game away from hosting Game 1 of the World Series and having everyone on full rest, because the World Series technically doesn't begin for another few days. How you doing, Big Dave? The Reds will try to clinch things with Danny Jackson, who was the Game 1 winner. And the Reds pen got a little bit used yesterday, but they should be pretty much all fresh for that. For the Mets, the only one that's not available and a last-ditch effort, should not be a Johnny Holstaff game. Ron Darling is pretty good. But the only one that would not be able to go tonight is David Cone. Dwight Gooden did have 90 pitches, but he had an S next to his name, and in Action PC Baseball, that means short rest. So if there is a tomorrow for the Mets, he will be able to go in a Game 5, and that would be Wednesday at noon Eastern, with Bobby Ojeda getting the call if they can get that far in Game 6. So for the Mets, essentially, it's a one-game season or one-game series, and if they win this, then they get another one-game series, and then another, and then another. But they have to win tonight, and that's what we got for you. It's Ron Darling and Danny Jackson, and if the Reds win, everything is coming up since it's the biggest Red win since Warren Beatty. As Retro Sports Network presents the 1988 National League Championship Series tonight, from Shea Stadium in Flushing Meadow, New York, it's Game 4 between the New York Mets and the Cincinnati Reds. And tonight's game is brought to you by DigitalDice.com, the best darn podcast on the web for your sports simulation and replay needs. Find us today on Spotify, Spreaker, iTunes, or wherever else fine podcasts are listed. So Ron Darling taking his warm-up tosses. Did the Jeffries pull a Yankees or the Yankees pull a Jeffries? Greg Jeffries is not in the lineup tonight, oh, by the way. So if you weren't with us for game number 3, infield playing in, bases loaded in a 4-3 Met lead, and a ground ball to second, and Jeffries just simply tried to make a play, and when he picked up to throw the ball, he had no ball. And all hell broke loose for the Mets after that. So Ron Darling, who I think I'm actually related to by marriage, and I'm not just saying that because it's, Ron Darling. Darling went 14-9 on the replay, which is why he's stuffed in for game number 4. He's 28 years old, fastball at 89, and a fly ball pitcher. Against the Reds, he made 3 starts, 24 innings, 19 hits, 10 runs all earned. He walked 18 and struck out 14. He went 1-1. The good news, if you're a Met fan, is the Reds only hit 224 off him. The bad news, he is a darling, yes. The bad news is his ERA was 3.75, and that might not be good enough tonight. His last time out was against St. Louis on the 2nd. So he's on 6 days rest. In a 4-1 loss, he went 7 1/3, 121 pitches, 8 hits, 3 runs, all earned, a home run. He walked 3 and struck out 9. His last win came against the Phillies on September 22nd, and on the 17th, he 2-hit the Expos 6-0. Darling overall, 245 and a third, 239 hits, 101 runs, 100 earned, 27 home runs allowed, 62 walks, and 159 strikeouts. How you doing, Tribe fan? Here's how the Reds will line up. If they win, they're in. Barry Larkin leads off at short. Chris Sabo will bat second and play third. Eric Davis will hit third in center field. Cal Daniels cleans up in left. Paul O'Neill will bat fifth and right. Nick Osaski at first will bat sixth. Ron Oster at second will bat seventh. Jeff Reed behind the plate batting eighth. Danny Jackson on the hill will bat ninth, and Darling will go as long as he's effective for the Mets. Come on, tell me play ball again. Play ball! Kevin McReynolds is in left for New York. He is a 5 and a 9. By the way, it is raining here again in New York. This would be Saturday afternoon, October 8th, which is when they played this game in real life. But it was the Dodgers. And if you remember, it was Game 3. And it was the day that Jay Howell was thrown out. Mookie Wilson is a 6 and a 3 in center. Darryl Strawberry a 6 and a 7 in right. Howard Johnson a 3 at third. Kevin Ulster a 5 at short. Wally Backman a 3 at second. Keith Hernandez a 10 at first. I got to sneeze. Gary Carter is an 8 and a 5 behind the plate. I'm getting an excellent connection here, according to YouTube. Where's the pH level of the rain today? 8. Gary Carter at 8 and a 5, and Darling is a 7 with a 945 fielding percentage. So, if the Reds win, this series is over. If the Mets win, we get one more at Shea. Keep an eye on the rain. We will for you. Outside of that, hardly any wind. 62 degrees. And for ABC, this is a noon start, so we can get to college football after. Barry Larkin, 5 for 13 on the series, 385 and 4 RBI. And Larkin starts Game 4. Past Hernandez. Strawberry has to get it. Larkin digging for 2. The throw in there. Not in time. So Larkin starts with a double for Chris Sabo, who is 4 for 13. With 3 RBI. All 4 of those hits are singles. Larkin isn't going anywhere, but would score on a hit. Darling deals. There's a chopper over the mound. Backman has it. Larkin goes to third. Hernandez is there. 2 out. I would use Jeffries as a pinch hitter, but I'm not going to put him in the field. If we need to have a backup second baseman, it would be Timmy Tuffle. Eric Davis has struggled in this series, 3 for 13. He has fanned 6 times, which isn't going to help him in Pete Rose's doghouse, but he has driven in 2. Pitch from Darling. There's a ground ball, Darling third base side over to Hernandez, and Larkin will be stranded at third. So the Reds threaten just like the rain, but do not score. Half an inning in the books. Cincinnati, nothing. Here come the Mets. Nope. There's 2 out. Ha! Way to pay attention, Ron. Way to go, Ron. Cal Daniels hitting 300. He has 2 doubles in this series and 3 RBI. I guess I got a bit soggy myself. Darling's pitch to Daniels. There's a base hit in the right center, and Larkin will indeed score. Wilson will throw it back in, and it's 1-0 Reds. For Paul O'Neill, 273, 3 for 11. He hasn't driven in a run, but he has scored 3 times. He has doubled, and he has tripled. So the Mets already behind the 8 ball before they can even get started. Pitch from Darling. Ball 4. O'Neill draws the walk. Sid Fernandez is tired. So they really don't have a long reliever. Unless you want to go with Gooden, and then you're throwing the entire book out for Game 5 should the Mets win. Here's Asaski, 2 for 10 on the series. 2 singles, a run scored, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Daniels on second, O'Neill on first, 2 out. A rough first inning for Darling on a day where the Mets need to be picture perfect. Pitch to Asaski. Here's a ground ball to Hojo. He's got it. He'll throw to first, and that's it. So a long inning for Darling. He threw 29 pitches, but the Reds only get 1 on 2 hits. How you doing, Doug? And after half an inning, it's the Reds 1, the Mets nothing. So enter the presumably Cy Young Award winner for Cincinnati and Danny Jackson. On the replay, he led the league in ERA at 2.05. His 20 wins was number 1, and his 190 strikeouts was good for 5th. He's 26 years old, fastball pitcher at 88, and a standard pitcher. In his start in Game 1 in Cincinnati, he went 8 innings in a 4-2 win, 3 hits, 100 pitches on the nose, 2 runs, both earned, a home run. That was to Jeffries, a pinch hit home run. He walked 3 and struck out 3. For the Mets, it'll be the same lineup that he faced in Game 1. Mookie Wilson leads off in center. Wally Backman will bat second, so I guess it's not the same lineup, but not the same positions. Backman will bat second and play second. Darryl Strawberry in right will go third. Kevin McReynolds cleans up in left. Keith Hernandez at first will bat fifth. Howard Johnson at third going sixth. Gary Carter behind the plate batting seventh. Kevin Elster at short goes eighth. And Darling, who doesn't have that bad of a bat, will bat ninth. And Jackson will go as long as Pete Rose thinks he's effective. Defensively for the Reds, Cal Daniels a 4 and a 6 in left. Eric Davis a 10 and a 2 in center. Paul O'Neill a 5 and a 7 in right. Chris Sabo was a 7 at third. Barry Larkin a 7 at short. Ron Oster is a 6 at second. Nick Asaski a 4 at first. And Jeff Reed is a 7 and a 4 behind the plate. Jackson a 7 on the mound with a .954 fielding percentage. Mookie Wilson 3 for 8 on the series. He started both the games in Cincinnati, but with a right-hander Rio on the mound for Game 3, he gave way to Lenny Dykstra. He scored and walked in the series as well. Jackson deals. There's a line drive right center, and the Mets are in business already. A little blooper out there, nobody out for Wally Backman. Infield playing normal. Wally 0 for 7. He is grounded into 2 double plays. He will square. It is down. Reed throws to Oster. Wilson moves to second, and Backman does his job. So 1 out for Strawberry, who has struggled again in the 4 games of the series. This is the 3rd time the Reds are going with a left-hander. Strawberry 2 for 11. Both of those hits, however, have been extra bases. A double, a triple, and 2 RBI. Was Pepitone able to get another at-bat for another home run crack? Not in Game 1. He had a double in Game 2 before his, well, let's just say he wasn't a back-page hero in the papers in New York this morning. Pitch to Strawberry. Struck him out. Jackson got him to chase a 1-2 fastball. McReynolds has been all that in a bag of chips. 4 for 11 on the series. A double, an RBI, 2 runs scored, and has stolen 3 bases. Oh. Who was playing the 7th game of the 64 series? Pepitone had a solo homer, a 3-run homer, and a grand slam. My goodness. Pitch to McReynolds. Ground ball to third. Sabo has it. Looks Wilson back over to Osaski, and the Mets do not score. They get a hit. They leave a runner on. After one in Game 4, 1-0 Cincinnati. Oh, Kurt Berglund. Not Ron Oster, who's 3 for 11 on the series. He has singled twice and doubled. What engine was Kurt doing that with? Pitch to Oster. Popped up. Carter. To the screen. Makes the catch, 1 out. For Jeff Reed, who's 1 for 9. Jeff is not here for his bat. Here's the pitch. Okay. Nice. Jeff has an RBI, has scored twice and walked twice. 1 out, Darling deals. Fly ball, right center. Wilson rides the Schwinn, coming in, makes the catch, and there's 2 out. For Danny Jackson, who went 0 for 3 in Game 1 with 2 strikeouts. How you doing, Mike in the truck? Jackson strikes out, and that will take care of the Reds in the second. No runs, no hits, no error. An easier inning for Darling, but he still has 44 in his bank. Spent after 2 innings. Inning and a half, 1-0 Reds. So Hernandez, Johnson, and Carter to face Jackson here in the second. Keith 2 for 9 in the series with a home run and 2 RBI. Pitch to Hernandez. Popped up right side. Osaski dodges the raindrops. 1 out. For Howard Johnson, Hojo has struggled in the series. He's 1 for 7. Has stolen a base, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. Jackson in a good groove right now. Winds and fires. Foul tips it, and the count is 0-2. So Hojo steps out, finds a flavor of his 23, and steps back in. Jackson's ready. Here we go. And Hojo worked the walk. I guess he found the fudge ripple. So Jackson lost Hojo. 1 out for Gary Carter. Gary 2 for 11. He has singled, doubled, and driven in a run. Jackson's goes home. Carter into right field. Back goes O'Neill. But Paul is there, and Howard goes back to first. What little wind there is, and it is at 1 mile an hour, isn't affecting anything. It is technically blowing from right to left, so Old Glory kind of lazily rippling along in the direction of LaGuardia. 2 out for Elster, who is 1 for 9 in this series, with a run scored, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. 2 out. Jackson throws to first this time, and Hojo is back. Now he'll work on Elster. Kevin rips this one foul, third base side, and somebody from Bethpage made the catch, and it's 0-2. Little ground ball. Oster in on the wet grass. Snap throw to Osaski, and that'll do it for the Mets. They had no runs, no hits, no errors. They've left on 2, and after 2, Reds 1, Mets nothing. So Darling opening 9, 44 pitches, 2 innings, 2 hits, a walk, and a strikeout. Larkin doubled and scored the lone run in the first. It's not that the Mets have played bad in this series. Jeffries had the 1 bad play in the 8th yesterday. It's that the Reds have just played that much better. Pitch to Larkin. That is past Hernandez and in front of Strawberry. So Larkin, is he going to dig for 2? He is. Strawberry throws it into Elster, and Larkin has his 2nd double today and his 3rd on the series. Nobody out for Sabo, who's 0 for 1. So Darling feeling the heat again. Here's the pitch. He kind of squibs it, and Carter's just going to eat it. It was a dribbler that was hit with enough English that you kind of guffawed at. Oh, yes, English indeed. And rolled around and stayed fair, and Carter wasn't going to go for Sabo, and Larkin runs all the way to third. So talk about a fluke play. Larkin was off on the pitch, and so Sabo is on first, Larkin on third, nobody out for Eric Davis. Wowzers. So Sabo hit that with some English. I gave you a bad English accent. He kind of hit that like a cue ball. Pitch to Davis. Fly ball, center field. That should score Larkin. Wilson's there, one out. Barry will tag. Mookie does not have a great arm, and it's 2-0 Cincinnati. So a sac fly for Davis. And that'll bring up Cal Daniels, who single scored Larkin in the first. Weird. You see about a rare play a game, I would think. Sometimes it's a delay. Sometimes it's an swing. I mean, with a computer, you can be so much more granular than you can with a card and dice game. Darling throws to first, and Sabo's back. Carter puts down a whole bunch of fingers. We're going to pitch out here. Sabo goes. Carter throws down to Elster, and Chris is in there. Not going the Mets' way now, is it? So Sabo in scoring position for Daniels. And the Mets are on the phone to the pen. How you doing, GGG? Darling deals. Got him. Daniels strikes out a 1-2 fastball, and that's the second from Darling. So 2 out for O'Neill. Paul walked his first time up. Reds have a run in here in the third. And if they win, the series is over. Darling deals. O'Neill in the left center. That will score Sabo. McReynolds has it. He's got to throw home. O'Neill's going to get second. Nope, the throw goes in the infield. The Reds lead 3-0. Wow. And the crowd at Shea goes silent again. Here's a Sasky. He's 0 for 1. Goodness. Darling's pitch. Right center. Wilson will track it down, but makes a sliding catch on the grass to end the inning. But the damage is done. 2 runs, 3 hits, and no errors. We're going to let Darling bat. Dwight Gooden is starting to loosen in the Mets pen. It's the Reds 3, the Mets nothing. So Darling, Wilson, and Backman have faced Jackson here in the third. I think we looked at this one being a pretty even series. And here we are with the Mets down 3 in a game they got to win. Pitch to Darling. There's a ground ball to third. Sabo over to Osaski for the out. Opening 9 for Jackson. An extremely efficient 34 pitches. 2 1/3, a hit, a walk, and a strikeout. Mookie Wilson singled his first time up. He's the lone hit of this ballgame for the Mets. Won't this time. Oster behind the bag, waits for it, throws to Osaski for the out. So 2 quick out for Wally Backman, who bunted his first time up. 0 for 7 on the series. 7 tomorrow for Game 3 or Game 4 between the Red Sox and the Twins. Minnesota leads that series 2-1. Pitch to Backman. There's a ground ball to Osaski. Nick takes it to the bag, and Backman is retired. So 3 up, 3 down. That's not what the Mets need. After 3, Reds 3, Mets nothing. So Oster, Reed, and Jackson to face Darling here in the fourth. Ron is 0 for 1. Struck him out. That's 3 for Darling. A 1-2 curve in there. Got him at the knees. 1 out for Jeff Reed. Jeff is 0 for 1. Walked him. You never want to walk the catcher with the pitcher coming up. A 3-1 curveball missed down and in, 1 away for Danny. Hernandez and Johnson play for the bunt. Jackson struck out his first time up. Struck him out. That's 4 for Darling. A swing and a miss on an 0-2 fastball. 2 out for Larkin, who really, if this series ends tonight, is making a case to be the MVP unless Jackson throws a one-hitter. Larkin has doubled twice tonight and is 7 for 15 on the series. Darling, 82 pitches, 18 batters, 3 2/3, 5 hits, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Larkin in the right center. This will be playable. Mookie makes the catch, and that'll do. So, after 3.5 at Shea, Reds 3, Mets nothing. So here's how this series has gone. The Reds won Game 1 4-2. Danny Jackson beat Dwight Gooden. In Game 2 is Tom Browning over Bobby Ojeda 4-3. And in Game 3, played yesterday at lunch, 8-4, the Mets led for the longest time, but the Reds got 5 in the 8th, and they were all unearned. Minnesota beat Boston last night in Game 3 of their series, 2-1, and that's how the series stands, at 2-1. Strawberry is 0 for 1. Danny Jackson's lone strikeout of the ballgame. Pitch to the Strawberry. Ground ball to Jackson, first base side, over to Asaski, 1 out. How you doing, Everett? So Kevin McReynolds is 0 for 1. Jackson just kind of going through the motions right now. Delivers. There's a fly ball to left. Daniels moves over a step or 3, makes the catch, and there's 2 out. For Keith Hernandez, who's 1 for 2. So for 1. Now he's that fouled in the left. Daniels makes the catch and it hits the half wall. Braces with his other hand, and that will do. I don't know why I thought he was 1 for 2. He is not. He's 0 for 2. No runs, no hits, and no errors. We go to the 5th here in Game 4. Reds 3, Mets nothing. Thank you. I don't think Mets fans are thinking this is a great NLCS. It'll be Sabo, Davis, and Daniels to face Darling here in the 5th. Sabo 1 for 2. He has singled, stolen a base, and scored. That came in the 3rd. That's ripped into left past McReynolds all the way down the line, and Sabo didn't even break a sweat to get into second base. It'll be Eric Davis. Davis had a sac fly. He's 0 for 1. And now we're watching that outcome box like a hawk. Darling is due to bat 4th in the bottom of the inning. And you don't want to... The Mets' pen is thin. Pitch to Davis. Struck him out. That was huge. Davis looked at a 1-2 changeup on the outside, 1 away. 5 now for Darling. Here's Daniels. Cal 1 for 2. He has singled, struck out, and driven in a run. How you doing, RJL? Robert, the Mets fan, rocking back and forth in his box seat above the dugout. Rally cap in place on this cool, rainy afternoon in New York. Pitch to Daniels. That's a ground ball base hit. McReynolds will pick it up. Sabo, that's a shallow ball, will score without a throw. And it's 4-0. I don't know what tip sheet Pete Rose was looking at before this series started, but the Reds have done everything right. Terry Leach coming in. We got a pitching change. This game coming to you from Shea Stadium in Queens. Leach has thrown 1 inning in this series and allowed a walk. He's 34 years old, fastball at 84, and a ground ball pitcher. He pitched in game 2. 17 pitches and a walk. And now you are just hoping to staple the barn door shut. Paul O'Neill has an RBI, a single, and a walk in this one. Runner on first is Daniels. O'Neill strikes out. Neal got his knuckles so low it almost scraped there. And that fastball just barely hit the knees. I think that would have even been almost a strike on Eddie Goodell, for crying out loud. Asaski is 0 for 2. Daniels on first. Got him. So Terry Leach does what he's supposed to do. The Reds get another run on 2 hits. They've left on 5. It doesn't matter how Danny Jackson does, as long as the Mets keep not hitting. Halfway home on a beautiful day in Burlington, 4-0 Reds. Enjoyed the slate. Here's how he got here. 4 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Reds. No runs, a hit, and no errors for the Mets. Cal Daniels, an RBI single in the first to score Barry Larkin. 1-0 Cincinnati. Eric Davis in the third to sack fly. And then Paul O'Neill singled home Chris Sabo to make it 3-0. And a moment ago, Cal Daniels singled home Chris Sabo to make it 4-0. The Mets... Ron Darling was chased a few minutes ago, 4 1/3, 7 hits, 4 runs, all earned. He walked 2 and struck out 5. Terry Leach is going to try to give them 5 outs. He struck out the 2 he faced. Danny Jackson, a 1-hitter through 4. He has walked a man and struck out a man. In the 6 years, Ben, I've done this. This is the first time I've ever gotten the Red Sox to the playoffs. Howard Johnson walked his first time up. Jackson starts the 5th. Fly ball, left field. Back goes Daniels. 1 out. That wind is now blowing in from the sound at 6. And that thing hit something up there about where the N is on the key span sign by the light tower and just knocked it in the glove of Daniels. Gary Carter is 0 for 1. Pitch to Carter. Fly ball to right. That's going into the wind. O'Neill is there. 2 out for Kevin Elster, who's 0 for 1. Now, the Reds should walk Elster here to make me make a decision on Leach. Jackson's pitch. Elster lines it to Larkin, and Barry robbed him of a hit. I got to... as well as Jackson's pitching in this one, Barry Larkin has pretty much done everything he can to get a World Series game at Riverfront. How about that? After 5, no runs, no hits, no errors. Reds 4, Mets nothing. So Oster, Reed, and Jackson to face Leach here in the 6th. Gooden wasn't up all that long. You got McDowell and Myers. The two of them can get you 9 outs. Pitch to Oster. There's a base hit in the right. Strawberry throws it back in for Reed, who's 0 for 1 with a walk. I think the Mets are pretty much right up against it. 4 you can do. 5 is tough. We'll just paint the ball right here. Yeah. And then a little bit of texture as we draw it into the outfielder's glove. And here's the shadows. And in the background, those pretty little bleachers right there. Jeff Reed is 0 for 1. Somehow our stream got crossed up with PBS. Pretty little trees, yes. Reed. That's into left for a base hit. McReynolds will pick it up. Oster will hold it. Oster's going to third, and they got him caught. The throw to Hojo. Oster is in there. Oh, my goodness. It's a house of horrors for the Mets. Oster ran through a stop sign. Is it still out? No, Gramus is in Detroit. So whoever the Reds' third base coach is just put up the stop sign. Oster was a dead duck. McReynolds fired it to Backman, who fired it to Hojo, and Oster got in under the tag. Davy Johnson has reached into his Earl Weaver locker kit, his foot locker, and pulled out a carton of Chesterfields. So runners on the corners and nobody out for Danny Jackson, who drops one down. That's a sacrifice. Hernandez throws to Backman for the out. So second and third, 1 out. And we're not even going to pitch to Larkin. So Barry gets the hall pass. And they'll make Chris Sabo beat him. Sabo is 2 for 3. If this game was truly rigged, the Milwaukee Brewers would win every replay. Yeah, it's been it has not been the Tom Amansky school of winning baseball for the New York Mets. So they are loaded. Oster on third, Reed on second, Larkin on first. Chris Sabo is 2 for 3. Mets turn 2, they get out of it. And they can pinch hit and bring in either it'll be McDowell to pitch the 6th or the 7th. But they got to get Sabo out first. Leach deals. Ground ball to Terry. He bobbles it. He throws home for Carter, and Oster is out. He bobbled it. He recovered it. Gary Carter was there. They get the force. The bases remain loaded, but the Mets get that key out at the plate. For Eric Davis, who quite honestly is overdue, like that book you forgot to bring back to the library. He does have a sac fly in this one and a strikeout. And somehow, with only 3 hits in the 4 games, he does have 3 RBI. So the bases remain loaded. 2 out. Left field. The Mets get out of it. McReynolds has it. And it's still, after 5.5, they leave him loaded. No runs, 2 hits. The Reds have stranded 8. And it's 4-0 Cincinnati. Yeah, the bobble didn't allow the double play, but they got the key run at home. Who can hit a lefty? Dave Maggot. Do you go with Maggot? I'm going to go with Jeffries because you're not going to put him in the field. So Jeffries, who is 4 for 9 in the series. He has tripled and homered twice. But it was his boo-boo last night that has the Reds on the ropes. Jackson deals. Ground ball, left side, base hit. And he can steal. 18 deep from Danny. 64 pitches, 5+ innings, 2 hits, a walk and a strikeout. And the Mets and their fans hoping that Jeffries is the spark the Mets need to get back in this series. They need Grimace to come in and rally the troops. Everyone gets a happy meal if the Mets win, because it would be, indeed, a happy recap. Pitch to Mookie. Walked him. So it's first and second now, and nobody out for Wally Backman. Wally is 0 for 1. He does have a bunt in this game. And with nobody out, he's going to square again. The bunt is down. Reed will throw to Larkin to get... No, he won't. It goes into center field. And the Mets catch a break. Do they score? No. But they don't get anybody, and the bases are loaded for Darryl Strawberry. Jeff Reed threw that one into center field, but not deep enough to score Jeffries. So it's Jeffries on third, Wilson on second, Backman on first, nobody out in the sixth. Jackson to face Strawberry. Darryl 0 for 2 with a K. Up the middle. They'll concede 1. Oster to Larkin for 1. Over to Asaski for 2. So the botched sacrifice allows the run to score before, and the Reds will take 2 for the price of 1, just like you would at Gimbel's, Bloomingdale's, or Macy's. Here's McReynolds. He's 0 for 2. Runner on third. At least the Mets are on the board here in Game 4. Jackson deals. Wilson down the line. Ground ball to Oster. It takes a hop. Throws to Asaski, and the inning's over. They load the bases, but do not score. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. They do score. They get a run on a hit and an error. And after 6, it's the Reds 4, the Mets 1. It will be Myers. You're not looking at saves at this point. You're trying to save your season. Your lone lefty to face Daniels and O'Neill. So not an ideal situation, but he pitched yesterday, an inning and 2/3, 21 pitches and 2 strikeouts. But again, you can't give up another run. 4 is all they can. Zayers, yes! Daniels is 2 for 3. O'Neill to follow. Cal has singled twice and driven in 2. And struck out. Randy starts the 7th. Struck him out. Paul O'Neill, 1 for 2. Has a single, an RBI, a walk, and a strikeouts. Mets need to get the next 9 and hope they can kind of cobble together 3 runs. It is theirs. Those were nice. They were not closed between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Pitch to O'Neill. Got him. So Randy fanned both the lefties. A 1-2 fastball in the inside corner. Here's Asaski. He's 0 for 3. Up the middle. Elster on the wet grass. Throws to first. Asaski's hustling. He is safe. On the bang-banger. Now that'll bring up Oster, who is 1 for 3. They'll at least make him bat right-handed this time. He has singled and struck out. Myers deals. Got him. So Randy strikes out the side. Stretch time 4-1 Reds. It'll be Hernandez, Johnson, and Carter to face Jackson here in the 7th. Keith is 0 for 2. So Randy Myers did exactly what the Mets needed him to do. He struck out the side around a single. Pitch to Hernandez. Ground ball, first base. Asaski will let it roll foul, and it's 1-2. To Jackson, right up the box, throws to first, 1 out. Frank Williams is the only one in the bullpen that cannot go. So they have Rob Murphy, they have Rob Dibble, and they have John Franco. Rio, of course, started Game 3. Howard Johnson, as I lose the outcome box, is 0 for 1 with a walk. To third, Sabo waits, throws to Asaski. He's running, and that's an error. Howard's going to reach. The Reds commit the error. Sabo's first of the series, and Hojo is on first. Officer Dibble. We've made the joke before. Rob Dibble's father did the news on WTIC for 1,000 years in the morning. Gary Carter is 0 for 2. For Bob Steele, I believe Rob Dibble is from Milford, Connecticut. Pitch to Carter. Ground ball to third. Sabo can atone for it right here. Oster for 1, Asaski for 2. And the Reds are 6 outs away. We have played 7 at Shea. Reds 4, Mets 1. So no fancy graphics after this one. It'll be Reed. We'll see what they do with Jackson. Danny's only thrown 86 pitches. And Larkin. Reed 1 for 2. He is singled and walked. Myers starts the 8th, and you walk him again. Myers will wait to see what they do with Jackson. Danny has struck out twice in this one, and I believe bunted. Stays in the game, drops one down. Hernandez will get Elster. Another error. That goes into center field. Hernandez, you talk about making that play 10 times out of 9, was trying to get Reed instead of taking the easy out. The Mets are trying too hard, and that got into center field, and everybody's safe. Jackson squared. Hernandez really should have let that one go foul. Instead, he must not have thought he had a play on Jackson. He tried to get Reed, who was as slow as molasses, and instead, that ball, the rain has stopped, and so that throw went into center field. So here's Larkin. You got to pitch to him now. He is 2 for 3. He has doubled twice. He has scored twice and was intentionally walked. Carter tries to calm Myers down. Randy from the stretch. Laced over Hernandez for a single. Reed will hold at third. And they got to go with Roger McDowell. So the Mets needed 9 outs from these two. And they're bringing McDowell earlier than they'd like. Gooden is starting to loosen in the Mets' pen. McDowell has pitched once in this series. He went a third of an inning. That was last night. He allowed 2 hits, 3 runs, 1 earned, and faced 5 batters. He was on the mound when bases are loaded, right? Infield has to play in with nobody out. Sabo 2 for 4. He has singled and doubled. scored twice and stolen a base. He was on the mound when Jeffries had the boo-boo at second. Nope. Not corners, in. Ground ball to McDowell. They get Reed at the plate for one. Hernandez. Yep, they do it. It's a 1-2-3 double play. And there's life at Shea Stadium yet. So second and third for Eric Davis, who is 0 for 3. He has driven in a run and a sac fly. That was huge, Ben. And a strikeout. We talked about this a little bit. Playoff baseball is such a different animal than the other playoffs in sports. And when you're in the situation the Mets are in right now, in the 8th down 3 runs, it really is do or die. McDowell, deep breath deals. Davis hits a ground ball to Hojo, and the Mets hold the Reds off the board. They load the bases and cannot score. No runs, a hit, and an error. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It's the Reds 4, the Mets 1. So Elster, who will have to bat, a pinch hitter in Mookie Wilson. Line drive to Larkin, 1 out. So who can hit a lefty? Dave Magadan, who has drawn a walk and is 0 for 1 in this series. Danny Jackson has held the Mets to 2 hits in 7 1/3. The rain has stopped. It's now blowing in from dead center at 6. It's 67 degrees, but for the 55,000 here at Shea, minus a few Red Sox fans, it is starting to freeze over. Pitch to Magadan. Right back to Jackson, 2 out. For Mookie Wilson, who is 1 for 2, he has singled and walked. Daniels, O'Neill, and Nasaski. Ojeda is loosening too with the 2 lefties. 27 batters for Jackson. 92 pitches, 7 2/3, 2 hits, 2 walks, and a strikeout. And I thought this would be the series that would go 7. I cannot believe that the Mets are 3 outs away from getting swept. Pitch to Wilson, fouled off the mask of Reed. They ask Jeff where he is. He says Marineland. They say close enough. And it's a 1-strike count. Right field, O'Neill races in, makes the catch. The sliding catch. And now the Mets are 3 outs away. We go to the 9th. No runs, no hits, and no errors. The Reds 4, the Mets 1. I'm not sure if Grimace would help or not. They will go with Bobby Ojeda, who pitched in Game 2. He went 7 innings. He took the loss, 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned, a double, a triple allowed. He walked 1 and struck out 4. If somehow the Mets win this game, he wouldn't be used tomorrow anyway. There would be a day off if Dwight Gooden can beat him. But right now, you're just going 1 day at a time, 1 inning at a time, and now 1 batter at a time. And that batter is Cal Daniels. He is 2 for 4. He has singled twice and struck out twice. He has driven in 2. Pitch to Daniels. Got him. So a full count curveball, late strike 3. Don't tell RJL, but I'm asking you for your ballots for MVP. Is it going to be Larkin or Jackson? Philip, I'm doing well. How are you? Here's O'Neill. 1 for 3, a single. He has struck out twice, walked, and driven in a run. And Dave Collins will pinch hit. Collins making his first appearance in the playoff. No, he apparently he walked. I'm sorry, he had a pinch hit walk. That came, was that yesterday? Nope, that was game 1. I hit it. Right field, Strawberry, 2 out for Osaski, who was 1 for 4. So Backman, Strawberry, and McReynolds, the last chance for the Mets. You can make a case for Larkin. You can make a case for Danny Jackson. Ojeda deals. And Osaski walks for Ron Oster, who was 1 for 4. He has singled and struck out twice. Remember, Ojeda is pitching tired. He was the Mets' Game 2 starter. They throw to first, and Osaski's back. Oster, ground ball to third. Hojo's got it. Backman, and now it's, well, Oster's going to reach. Was there only 2 out? Nope, that was it. So here we go. That's, yeah. Last chance saloon for the New York Mets. They need 3 to tie and 4 to win. They're going to pinch hit for Backman right here. And it will be Lenny Dykstra. On a Saturday afternoon 2 years ago, it was Dykstra's 3-run homer that gave the Mets a series lead. Right now, he went 2 for 4 yesterday. He scored a run and walked. Jackson trying to get the complete game. The Mets are 3 outs. They need 3 runs. Jackson deals. Got him. A 1-2 inside on the black. You're not pinch hitting for Strawberry. We don't really have anybody to pinch hit. I started Mookie Wilson because of the lefty Jackson. I platooned him for the series. Mookie actually hit .364 for the series. Base hit right center field. So the Mets have a pulse. Collins throws it in. Dave is a 6 and an 8 in right. Here's McReynolds. He's 0 for 3. Strawberry not going anywhere. The Mets pen, or the Reds pen rather, is fresh. Jackson throws to first. Strawberry a better chance to go, but I'm not taking it out on the bases now. Jackson deals. And the pitch out. It's tempting. It's tempting. Do I do it, Robert? Do I steal him? That will at least stay out of the double play. No. All right. Jackson. That was his 100th pitch of the game with 1 out in the 9th inning. He deals. Popped up. Reed to the screen. Does he get there? No. A ball and a strike. McReynolds swings the bat. Jackson's ready. So is McReynolds. Right field. Collins goes back. 2 out. So now it is last chance saloon. Danny Jackson has been named the National League Championship Series MVP. And all that's standing in his way is Keith Hernandez. He is 0 for 3. The captain versus Danny Jackson. And another, they're not even holding him on. And Sasky had to sprint back. Strawberry looks a bit nervous. Jackson from the belt. Fly ball, right field. Collins. The Reds have won the National League. They scored 4 runs in 3 of their 4 wins. In unbelievable fashion, to quote Fran Tarkenton, that's incredible. The Reds have swept and now will get pretty much a full week off. While the Red Sox and the Twins do battle. 3 hours and 5 minutes. So for those of you looking for college football, you'll get to it in a moment. The tail of the tape, 4 runs, 11 hits, 2 errors for the Reds. They left on 12. The Mets, 1 run, 3 hits, an error, and they left on 4. Danny Jackson is your series MVP. He goes 2-0 on the series. He throws a 3-hit virtual shutout here in Game 2. He walked 2 and struck out 2. And much like the other aces in the NLCS before, such as Steve Rogers in 82 and John Tudor in 85, the presumed Cy Young Award winner owns the LCS. Ron Darling, in a night where he had to have been perfect, was anything but. 4 1/3, 7 hits, 4 runs, all earned. He walked 2 and struck out 5. Leach and Myers, McDowell, and Ojeda did their darndest to keep the Reds off the board, giving up 4 hits over the last 4 2/3. The Mets in the series hit 202. I mean, you do that, you aren't doing anything. And the Reds hit 269. We're going to take tomorrow off. Now with this down to 1 series. Getting the right camera shot here. And so Game 4 of the Red Sox and Twins will be at noon on Wednesday. And then we'll go at about 7:30, 7:45 on Thursday. So I'm taking tomorrow because we did 2 yesterday and 1 tonight, and we're down to 1 series. So who will the Reds face in that World Series? Well, the Twins are up 2-1, but it's Frankie Viola and Roger Clemens tomorrow, or on Wednesday. So that's that for that. My apologies to the Mets. I really don't think I did much wrong, and this entire series changed with Greg Jeffries not being able to know what to do with the ball in the 8th inning of Game 3. That was it for the Mets, and the Reds just picked up right on it. Uncle Mo was wearing a Reds jersey. They host Game 1 of the World Series, technically a week from tonight, but we'll see how long the ALCS goes. So Danny Jackson faces whoever. Oh, okay, RJL. That's that for that. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching. We'll talk to you at noon on Wednesday for Game 4 of the Red Sox and the Twins. Until then, I'm Ron Juckett. We'll talk to you the next time. Have a good night, everybody.